Hi, this is meteorologist Steve Pellettiere, and I am the Weatherman. Thanks for checking into the Weatherman Pod on this Saturday. It looks like the Northeast is going to have generally fair conditions, but it looks like a little bit more haze, and we may be dealing with a little bit of air quality issues as we head into midsummer. And it causes a lot of times a lot of folks to have some tough time being out of doors, either with allergies, even breathing, and just going about in the exercises that they do. Could be a little bit more of a chore because of the air quality. There's a few things that we do look at as far as the air quality is concerned, and where there are different types of pollens. And some of the information that we have includes grass pollen, overall pollen. Of course, that would have something to do with all flowers and all types of weeds and this, that, and the other. Ragweed pollen, of course, is a big problem for many, and we do have some type of indication of that. Tree pollen, well, yes, trees do have pollen. Of course, a lot of folks know that early in the season, just as they start to bud, and have all types of material coming down from the trees, and that, of course, goes on our cars and on the patio furniture, everything out of doors that's exposed. And when that happens, of course, a lot of folks do have some problems with breathing and just doing outside chores. So today we're going to talk about the general air quality for Saturday. And the first one we'll start off with is the grass pollen. Grass pollen is going to be at a very high level, moderate to high, I should say, extending from northern Virginia all the way up through Maine and all across the northern tier. There is a general west flow, and that means that the plain states, the Dakotas, Minnesota, even in the Great Lakes, a lot of those places there. High grasses, high tall grasses, and that is just moving across the northern tier of the nation. So the overall grass pollen is moderate, extending all across the northern states, say from Oregon, across through Idaho, into Wyoming, the Dakotas, sections of Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, also into Wisconsin, much of, which is about all of Michigan, portions of Indiana and Ohio, and importantly for the east and the northeast, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Delaware, even into all the New England states, that grass pollen is going to be high today. Overall pollen, just about the same as I just mentioned. That's, of course, because of the extensive grass pollen that we're having today. The ragweed is also a problem across Pennsylvania, New York State, New Jersey, Connecticut, and extending all the way across through the northern tier, once again, the Great Lakes, all the way out to Seattle and Oregon and those states that I mentioned, also including sections of California and Nevada as well for ragweed pollen today. Tree pollen, not a problem because the trees are at mature stage and just growing like crazy, and we won't have a problem with that for a while. Looking ahead towards tomorrow on Sunday, we see that the air quality, the overall air quality, is still going to be moderate across New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania and southern New York, including New York City. Also, it's going to be moderate across the Four Corners region, Wyoming, sections of the Dakotas, Nebraska, and also Kansas. Arkansas also going to have some problems, as is will the Texarkana area. Grass pollens still are going to be tough across that northern tier, but now tomorrow we're looking at high amounts of grass pollens across New Jersey, much of Pennsylvania, southeast New York, southern New England, which includes Massachusetts, Vermont, southern Vermont, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and it extends also into Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and also moderate to high amounts of grass pollens in sections of Idaho, eastern Washington, and Oregon State. Overall pollen still going to be tough across the northern tier. Not too bad, though, across the southeast. That's because they have a lot of rainy weather down in those places. And tomorrow's ragweed also not a problem in the southeastern states, but still a problem. Moderate amounts of ragweed in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York State, extending all across the northern tier, extending into much of California except the southern portion of that state. So we'll be looking at weather situation for the Northeast. Generally fair skies, a little bit extra cloud cover, and the air is not being stirred up that much because we are getting into a more of a southwesterly flow. That's going to be warming things up, and general pollutions will probably be on the higher side over the next day or two. So that's just a look at our problem and our air quality situation for this weekend in July for the 20th and 21st. And a little bit earlier, the first podcast gives you the weather situation across the nation, and we'll probably try to include a lot of this information on pollen and allergies over the next several days as we get into the autumn season. I'm meteorologist Steve Pellettiere. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.